Hello everyone, welcome to the part 4 in this session 8. So in this part we will see about the most important and most widely used Jenkins parameters, that is active choice parameters. So in this session we will see how we can make the use of these active choice parameters in Jenkins parameter job with the practical examples. So for these parameters you first need to install a plugin in the Jenkins server, that is active choices. Okay, so if you want to use these parameters, first you need to download and install this plugin in the Jenkins server. Okay, so by default this option will not be available. So once you install this above plugin in your Jenkins server, then you will get three more options in the job configuration. So while configuring the Jenkins job with the parameters, we will get this active choice parameter option. Then second one is active choice reactive parameter, and third one is active choice reactive reference parameter. Okay, so let's go and install this active choices plugin first. So for that purpose, you just need to go to the manage Jenkins, then go to the manage plugins. Okay, so you need to go to this available section and search active choices. Okay, like this. So I have already installed this plugin, that's why it is not showing here. That will be available in the install tab now. Okay, so you can see that this plugin is already installed on my Jenkins server. Okay, so when we first time going to search it, you will see in the available section, when you search the active choices, you will get this option. So select this checkbox and you can click on install without restart or download now and install after restart, anyone. So first let me create a folder in the demo project. So here I will go new item, active choice parameters. This is my folder. So I will add the jobs related to this active choice parameters in this folder only. So click on create a job. Okay, this is our freestyle project, and here I will give, let's say, demo 1. Okay, so to make this project as a parameterized project, you need to select this checkbox. This project is parameterized. So from this drop down, now you will see these three options are now available because we have installed that active choices parameters plugin in our Jenkins server. Okay, so let's see these parameters one by one. Okay, so I have already mentioned here this active choice parameter can generate a list of value for the build parameter dynamically. Okay, so all these parameters are going to create the list of values for that build parameter dynamically. So we can create or we can generate the values for this parameter depending upon the value for this active choice parameter. Okay, so we can create the dependency between these two. And the third one is active choice reactive reference parameter. This can be used to showing some important message for the user to correct selection of the active choice reactive parameter. Okay, for this one. So let's try to understand all these three parameters through a practical example. So very simple example I am going to cover. So let's say in our automation we have different type of automation. So there can be sanity automation, there we have smoke automation, full regression automation, right? We can have performance automation. So for this example, consider I have the sanity type of automation in which I am going to run these test cases: sanity login, sanity logout, and sanity dash dashboard. Okay, so these are the name of the test cases I want to run when I want to run the sanity automation. Then if I want to run the regression automation, then I should get this list: regression test module 1, module 2, and module 3. So in that Jenkins parameter job, I should have two parameters, one each type of automation, where I can select either sanity or regression. Okay, and there then I will have another parameter, that is test case to run. So in that, if I select the sanity, then I should get this list on the UI. Okay, so user can select one or more test cases from this list and build the Jenkins job. Okay, and if I select the regression in the type of automation parameter, then the second parameter values should be regression test module 1, module 2, and module 3. Okay, so we are going to create the two parameters, type of automation and test cases to run, and there will be a dependency between these two parameters. Okay, so depending upon the value of type of automation, these values are going to change, okay, dynamically. So for the automation type, I will select this active choice parameter first. Okay, I will give here automation type. So this is my name of the first parameter, whose different values will be available for user to select while building this Jenkins job. Okay, so we'll see how we can get the values for this parameter later. So let me define the another parameter, that is test cases to run. So for that purpose, I will select this active choice reactive parameter. Okay, so this parameter is going to depend upon the value for this automation type parameter. Okay, so we have added two parameter. So this is the second one, test cases. Okay, I will give test cases, and here I will add the description. So select one or more test cases to run. Okay, so for this parameter we will have different test cases name, and from that list of values we can select one or more test cases to run. Okay, so we'll see how we can get the values for these parameters also later. So let's see, this is the choice type, so we can select one test cases or multiple test cases at a time. So I will select this multi select, and this is the referenced parameters. So in this text box you need to provide the dependency of this parameter on the other parameter. Okay, so test cases parameter is going to depend upon the value of this automation type parameter. Okay, so I will copy this parameter name and need to add it here. Okay, so we are creating the dependency between these two parameters. Okay, so we'll get the list of values and it is going to change dynamically depending upon the selection of the automation type parameter value. So I will click on apply and save. So if we click on build with parameter, you will see we got these two parameters, automation type and test cases. Okay, so currently we do not have any value for these parameters. Okay, so first let's see how we can add the parameters values with the Groovy Script option. So again, go to the configure. So for automation type, I am going to give the values using this Groovy Script option. Okay, so let me add the description first. Please select what kind of automation needs to run. Okay, so from the values for this parameter we need to select the automation type. So I will give return. Okay, so first value is, let's say, sanity. So this is my first value for the parameter, and the second one is regression. Okay, so these two values will be available on the UI for user to select. Okay, so user can select sanity or regression. So just select this checkbox, otherwise we need to approve these changes from the administrator. So you need to select this checkbox, use Groovy sandbox, and this is the fallback script. Okay, so in case this script fails, then we need to return something. So I will return, let's say, error here. Okay, and for this Groovy script also you need to select this checkbox. So choice type, so as I said, you can select one type of automation at a time. Okay, or you can have sanity and regression both selected. Okay, so it's up to you. So as of now I will select single select only. Okay, so that's it. So for this automation type parameters, we are returning these values through the Groovy script. One is sanity and another one will be regression. Okay, and in case that script fail, then the error will be shown in the drop down value. So for this test cases type, we need to get the values. Okay, so what are the different values we want? So for sanity, we want these values. Okay, let's say currently we have only three tests: sanity login, logout, and dashboard. From the test case, select this Groovy script box, and here what you have to do is you need to add the condition first. Okay, if, okay, simple if block you need to use here. If automation type dot equals, if it is equals sanity, then you need to return the list of sanity test cases. So this is my list, right? Okay, so you need to add each value in the single quote first. Okay, then give the comma, then second value again in the single quote. Okay, then give the comma, and this is the third value. Okay, so every value need to be separated by the comma, and it should be under the single quote. Okay, so if my automation type sanity, then these are the values that will be shown in the drop down for this test cases parameter. Okay, and else if the second condition, so if it is regression, it is going to return. So this is the simple Groovy script. Depending upon the automation type, if it is sanity, it is going to return this value, and if it is regression, it is going to return these values. Okay, so simple Groovy script to get the values for this test cases parameters. Okay, so these values are dynamic. Depending upon the automation type, it is going to change, right? So again, you need to select this checkbox. Here again, we can add the return. Okay, so here in the choice type we can select the multi-select. Okay, so user can select one or more test cases to run at a time. Okay, so this already have given the reference parameters, and that's it. So click on apply and save. So now if we try to build with parameter, you will see there are different values are available in the automation type now. So in the automation type drop down we have sanity and regression, and in the test cases we have sanity. Okay, so if I select the sanity here, it will show me the sanity, right? So that's why it is showing me the sanity list. And if I change regression, then it is showing some error. Okay, so it should not show me the error. Let me see again why it is showing the error for the regression. Okay, here we miss the R here. Okay, click on apply and save. Okay, so if I select regression now it is showing me the list of test cases related to the regression. So user can select one or more test cases from this list. Okay, and again if I select the sanity, again this values for this test case parameter is going to change. Okay, so these values are changing dynamically. So let's see the second point, how we can use the filter the parameters value. Okay, how we can filter the parameters values. Okay, so as of now we only have 3 values for the test case parameters. Okay, so if we have hundreds of values, okay, so it will be better if I get some filter here. Depending upon my requirement, I can filter those values and I will get that option immediately here. Okay, so that will be my requirement. So we can do that. Again, go to the configure, and for both the parameters actually you can add the filter. You just need to select this checkbox. Okay, enable filter. Okay, so now we got these two filters. So if I try to filter the values, okay, so currently we have only two values. Let me try to filter with regression. Okay, just I press the R, I will get the regression option here. Okay, so it has filtered the values for this automation type. And same I can do here also if I want to filter with let's say dashboard. Okay, so you can see that it is working fine. It is showing me the test cases values which is related to the dashboard. Okay, yellow for the login and logout, both test cases are showing. Okay, so in the scenario where you have hundreds of values in the test cases, it will be very easy to filter out, okay, using these filters. The next point is default selection of the parameters values. For example, if I select the sanity, then sanity dashboard should be by default selected. Okay, so currently you can see, let me refresh. So you can see for the test case parameter values, we have not selected any option. Okay, so there is no option which is selected by default. User has to select the option first and then he can build this Jenkins job. So if I want that one or more test cases has to be selected by default for the sanity, then I can do that also. Just go to the configure, and whatever value you want that by default selected, you can just go there. Okay, let's say I want this dashboard should be selected by default. So here in the single quote only, once we complete the parameter value name, you need to give the colon and here add selected. Okay, this is how you need to provide the value for the parameter, then give the single colon and selected like this. Click on apply and save. Okay, now you can see this option is by default selected. Okay, so if I am triggering this demo one job using the build trigger, okay, let's say in the night I am triggering this job automatically. So this test case sanity dashboard will be run automatically. User don't need to select any option here. Okay, so while when you set up the Jenkins job to run the periodically or to run the automation in the night automatically, then you can make a use of that configure option selected. Okay, so depending upon the selection, the test cases which are by default selected will be run in the night automation. So now let's see how we can disable the selection of the parameter value. Okay, so for example, I want this logout sanity test should not be available for selection. Okay, it should be disabled. Okay, so I'm going to show this parameter value in the list, but user should not be able to select that option. Okay, so currently I am able to select all these three, right? So what I can do is I will go to the configure again, and for the logout, let's say I want to disable the selection. So I will give the colon, and here you need to use the disabled keyword here. Okay, disabled. Click on apply and save. So now you can see this option is not available to select for the user. Okay, so user cannot select the logout. Here I am trying to select that option, but I am not able to select it. Okay, so if there is any requirement like this, you can use the disabled keyword, right? And you can use the selected and disabled at the same time as well. Okay, let's say dashboard also I want to disable, and it is already selected by default. For temporary purpose, I am going to disable the parameter value. So at the same time, this dashboard is selected and it is disabled for the selection. Okay, so I am not able to select that option. Okay, so this is how you can use the active choice parameters and active choice reactive parameter. And our third and last one is active choice reactive reference parameters. For example, I will give you the example here. Let's go to the configure. So for this test cases parameters, we are returning these values. So in case that script is failed, it is going to return me the error value in the drop down value, right? So what I can do is I will get another one, active choice reactive reference parameter. I will give here the choice. So in this Groovy script, we can add the condition if test cases parameter value. Okay, so here is our test cases parameter name. If test cases is equal to, if it is equals to, okay, then return this statement. Okay, so if user do not select any type value for this automation type parameter, it is going to return me the error. Okay, and in that case this message will be shown to the user. So first select the automation type, and then this list for this reference parameter will be shown. So if we do not select any automation type, it should show me the error. So what I can do is let me add some blank value here. So first option will be blank in the automation type drop down. So you will not get any value if it is blank for these test cases. Okay, so if I select sanity, then I will get this list. If it is regression, then I will get this list. But if it is blank, there is no condition added here. Okay, so let me click on apply and save. Okay, so currently we have not selected any option for this automation type. Okay, so you can see it is showing me the error here in the test cases, but we do not get any message for this active choice reference reactive parameter. So what we have to do is again go to the configure here, and we need to select this error option by default. Okay, so we do not get that option because this error is not selected. When we select the error, then only we will get that message, right? Suppose let's see that. So here if we select this error, we should get the message for this parameter. Okay, so we are not getting that, so we need to see something we have missed here. For the third parameter, we need to add the script correctly. So let me add this as errors. Okay, so if test cases is error, then we should get this message on the UI. Please select automation type value. So select this checkbox again, return. So if there is no errors, then I am going to return, let's say, no errors. Then select this checkbox as well, and from the choice type I will select the formatted HTML. And yes, we have made these reference parameters. So this parameter, active choice reactive reference parameters, is depending upon the another parameter. Okay, so that is our test cases parameter. So you need to provide the value or name of this parameter as a reference parameter. Okay, so that's why it is not showing me that message. Okay, so click on apply, save, Okay, so currently this error is not selected by default. That's why it is not showing me the error. Okay, it is showing no errors. But if I select it manually, then it is showing me the please select a automation type value. Okay, so what we need to do is we just need to make this error by default selected. Okay, so when user do not select any automation type, then error will be displayed for the test case parameter, and we need to make that by default selected. Okay, so then only we will get that message on the UI. So I will add here this keyword selected. Okay, so you have just seen that if you want some option should be selected by default, then you can use this selected keyword. Okay, so this error will be by default selected in case of any error, or if you do not user do not select any automation type. So now if you see that this error is by default selected, and we are getting this message also. Okay, so while reading this message, user will be able to see that you need to select some option from this automation type. Okay, and that's why we are getting error for these test cases, and that's why we are getting this suggestion message. So we have selected HTML as a type. You can change that option also. If I change it to some other option, let's say from this I can select the input text box, click on apply and save. Okay, so that message will be shown in the input text box. Okay, so it is not showing correctly for the user. That's why we have selected the HTML. Okay, so if I select sanity, then you will get the sanity list, and it is showing no errors. And if I select the regression, again the values for this test case parameters changed, and here also we are getting the no errors. Okay, so this is how you can make a use of active choice parameters, active choice reactive parameters, and active choice reactive reference parameters. Okay, in the actual projects, in the real-time project, you can make a use of these three parameters, okay, in your automation to generate a dynamic values for the parameters. So we can create and get the values for these parameters using the Groovy script, okay, that we have seen. Then we can filter the values for these parameters also while configuring. Then you can make some option to be selected by default using the selected keyword, right? You just need to use colon selected. Okay, and if you want to disable some selection for the parameter, okay, so user will not be able to select that parameter value. So here you need to use the colon disabled. So try these things on your own, and let me know if you don't understand anything or if you face any issue in that.